Oh, it's an error occurred. We're live now. Hey.
Okay.
Board games, it's what we're talking about. Board games, I'm not gonna shout. And I am starting off the show with some singing. And I have Amy Wosley with me this morning. And once again, their name is Amy. I do not think that Amy is lazy. Amy is one of the managers of the Dice Cup. I have never heard Amy saying, "Hello, hey, what's up?" I have never heard Amy saying many other things. I've never heard Amy talking about chairs or swings. Board games, that's what we're talking about. Board games, we're not gonna shout. Hey, I
That
actually
was
made it to the
amazing.
end
Well
this time.
done.
So, thank you for being with us, Amy. It's lovely to see you. And thank you to everyone who's joining us. I am Bez. This is Amy. It is approximately breakfast time, at least in the UK. And we are going to be blethering about board games. Now, there is a big schedule down there. You can see what's happening in the next few days. And today is Amy Wosley of the Dice Cup. So, Amy, are you feeling generally okay today?
I am. Yeah, this is much earlier than I would usually get up, but I'm grateful because I should start getting up earlier because I'm going to be going back to work very soon.
And Amy does so much that we're going to talk about some of the stuff. You can see some of the links down there. And if you are watching, then please do comment. Let us know that you're watching. Say hello. It's always lovely to hear from you, to hear you say good morning. And you can also ask any respectful questions that you would like. And speaking of which, we've already had Patricia from long ago just to say hello last evening, and they're going to watch this later. Michelle, lovely to see you. And Alan Alton, lovely to see you as well. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Oh, thank
And
you.
please, if you do enjoy this, then feel free to share it. Oh, we've got Andrew January. Hello, Andrew. And these are all wonderful friends. I knew Andrew and Alan from before this whole lockdown. Oh, wow, this is someone I don't even know who Chris James is. I feel like maybe I should know them. Chris James, if I should know you, I'm really sorry. I have a really bad memory. But yeah, this is the thing I was going to talk about. Michelle, kind of someone who I've only gotten to know through all this streaming, and it feels like you kind of get to know people, which is a lovely, lovely thing. If you want to, if you feel that this is worth sharing, then please let other people know about it. I am live every 10 a.m., but if you share it right now on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, then other people can join in. We're going to blether for about an hour. And please, if you're on Facebook, thumb it. If you're on the YouTube, follow it and thumb, I guess. And if you're on the Twitter, please do follow me. I think I'm up to 23 followers out of the 50, which is the target. So that's two more than last time I counted. Yay! Making it. So back to the main topic, which is Amy Wosley of the Dice Cup. But first of all, we're going to ask Amy, what is a brilliant thing? Brilliant thing? What's a little thing that is brilliant?
I think a brilliant thing is a cup of tea. Wake me up in the morning and keep me going throughout the day, and they can have so many wonderful, brilliant flavors that come from this earth.
So are you normally someone who goes for those fruit teas, the herbal teas, the green teas,
All
oolong?
teas, yeah, I love a good loose leaf tea. In the mornings, I'm lazy, so I have a tea bag, but normally I will go for a really excellent flavor. We have lots of lovely tea shops here that do lots of crazy flavors like pancake and syrup and all sorts. So there's some really cool teas we can get.
Oh my God, pancake and syrup tea sounds amazing. I really want a cup of that.
It's really good.
And this is all in Nottingham, right?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, I'm sure that there must be something like that in London. I don't know how much it costs, because London, everything's a bit pricier, I find. Unless you go to the market. Like, speaking of, well, we don't need to get into it, but let's actually talk about quick daily highlights, listening to music and seeing sights. Daily highlights. For me, a daily highlight, talking about pricing of things, I'm going to say, for me, a daily highlight was going to the market where, like, on the main streets, don't go into the shop, like, it's a bit busy in there, it's a bit crowded, but you can go to the places where people sell bowls of things for £1, and you can get some amazing deals. I got 5 bits of celery for £1. And it was like, yeah, some of them were a bit rotten, like, so you kind of, okay, there's a little bit of the stock that I had to remove, but chopped it all up, made it into a big stew for the whole household. And I was like, what else there was something else that was an amazing deal. Oh yeah, 5 cucumbers for £1, and they felt very hard. They weren't soft at all. I was like really astonished. So that was my daily highlights. And then I made a meal, and everyone said, oh, this is a really good meal. Nicole said to me, this is possibly the best thing you've ever cooked. So that was, the secret ingredient was balsamic vinegar and a couple of spoons of honey to give it that sweetness. And Alan Outson is enjoying tea. Matcha in the morning, afternoon, tea in the afternoon. So, Amy, what is your daily highlight?
Probably getting ready to do some painting in a bit after this. I'm really excited because I haven't had time to paint in a few days, and so I've got all my kit ready, and then as soon as we're done, I'm going to do some lovely painting.
And finally, we've got games. What have we been playing? What are their names? So I'm just going to ignore all the board game arena stuff, because I did a large amount of board game arenas, quite a bit of it with Alan Outson. 3 games at once that we were playing. Yeah, I said I'd ignore it, and then I started talking about it. What's up with that? But anyway, so what I played in real life, I played 2 different games. We played firstly Pandemic Legacy Season 2. We're still on the prologue, so no spoilers. But we named one of the characters Professor McTavish. They're 91 years old, we decided. And this is based on Dr. McTavish, who was in the original Pandemic. And we decided, okay, maybe they were 20 years old. But the interesting thing is that Dr. McTavish in the original was the dispatcher, sending people around. And in the new one, they were the farmer. We didn't actually think of keeping the continuity until we were like, okay, what's their name? And someone said, you know, they look a tiny bit like that. They could be anyone. Because they've got this big mask on them, you can only see their goggles. You can't really see any of their face. They could be one of the people from the previous game. They look really old. And so we were like, okay, this person's 91 years old. And now they've decided to become a farmer. First prologue that we played, we managed to win. Second prologue that we played, we lost. We had a long string of bad luck, a lot of but we also play. I'll probably do a whole breakdown of that with spoilers and like at some points with a spoiler alert once we've played through the whole thing. And I also played a game that I'm playtesting, working on words backwards, and I'm still working out exactly how many words you should make and how many letters you should do. This is kind of basically a backwards muckle. But that's something that I'm planning to show everyone on Tuesday nights, and we're going to play it again in person today, so I'll have time to think. But what have you been playing, Amy Wosley?
I played Mintworks the other day while having lunch with my partner. That was really good. I love it. But I always forget how fast the game is. So I was ready. I was getting a system going, and then my partner goes, "Oh, I've won!" I was like, "Oh, I was just getting going." Okay, sorry. Aww. So we played that. That was really fun. And then I've been playing a lot of Seven Wonders Online. I haven't been able to play a lot of in-person games because we've just moved house and we're still unpacking all of them. So we saw Mintworks on top of one of the boxes and was like, oh, let's have a game while we have lunch. So mainly Mintworks, but then also lots of Seven Wonders Online while I'm painting. I just leave it ready and click a card when I'm sorting.
And so it sounds like you're playing in a turn-based manner rather than what they call real-time.
Yeah.
You played this on Board Game Arena as well?
Which one, sorry?
Seven Wonders. You said you played online.
Yeah.
And we were having a discussion just before the show started about how the dynamic of playing something digitally is completely different to playing in person. Because I know a lot of people say Ascension, which has a little digital app, is so much better digitally because you don't have to bother with all the shuffling every time, which is a little bit of a problem with deck builders. I know a lot of people don't really like that shuffling, but for me, I don't know, it gives you, if there's more than two players, it gives you something to do whilst the person to your left is going. And, you know, I know Richard Garfield of obviously Magic the Gathering, King of Tokyo, Bunny Kingdom, and Schizoid, underrated Xbox game. Schizoid's really good by Scaphalias and Richard Garfield, I believe, although level 50-something, I don't like that one level. It kind of got a bit random there for me. But anyway, Richard Garfield makes a point that it's nice to have these sorts of ceremonies because it's actually imbues the game with a sense of purpose and a sense of almost meditation, which is actually the reason why, we were talking about some reason why people might prefer to play solitaire games for that, because maybe you want to shuffle, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a really therapeutic thing. A lot of the like Pokemon players from the cafe have been telling me that they're getting withdrawal symptoms from not shuffling cards enough because they're so used to it, because it's almost a habit. It's like a tick. Just shuffling a nice deck of cards really feels nice, and I think it is quite calming. And so when people are used to doing it multiple times a week and just sat there with their friends shuffling cards, to go from that quite often routine to then nothing or not shuffling a lot of cards, I think it does kind of change how you use your hands.
For sure. And I think there's a lot of people, I mean, there's definitely a crossover, probably higher than the mean population in, I would say, hobbyist board games and people who are neuroatypical. And, you know, it's definitely a thing that sometimes having a little twitch or making repetitive noises can be immensely calming. And so that is a thing that games can offer. It's, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Pokemon Go is analogous to a fidget spinner, but maybe that's kind of what I'm saying in some way. Like, not exactly the same, but in a sort of more long-term thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Shell says, no time for games over the weekend.
Oh, no.
Bad times. But you don't get games every day, but when you do, enjoy them when you next get to play something.
Definitely.
Well, I'm going to move on to our quick, questionable questions. Quick, questionable questions. For Amy, firstly, did you have breakfast?
I did not, no.
Okay, what's the last thing you ate?
Oh, gosh. I don't remember.
Did you have dinner? Did you have a midnight snack?
I don't remember what I had.
You need to take more joy and pride in your food. This is pressure. This is like, I mean, the world is watching you.
I know. I don't remember what I ate for dinner. What did I eat for dinner? I had southern fried chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that homemade?
Sadly not. I was having a lazy day. I normally make all my meals from scratch, but this one was out of the freezer because I needed a quick dinner because I was streaming last night.
Okay. Well, I think I know the answer to this, but iced coffee or hot tea?
Hot tea. Hot tea.
And what's the best thing to eat and what's the best thing to drink whilst you're playing a board game of your choice? Obviously, like a real-life board game, not talking a digital board game.
Yeah. It's the best thing to eat and drink. I like to snack on vegan cookies a lot when I'm playing board games. Always,
not too much grease on the fingers. Yep.
Yeah, and I really like drinking iced tea when we're playing board games.
Okay, and what's the last person that you spoke to in person?
My partner, definitely.
Ooh, and what's the last game that you played?
Midworks. That was the most recent.
Books or podcasts?
Oh, books.
What's the last one you read?
It was called, I think it's called This Is Going to Hurt. And it's by an ex-doctor, now comedian, who talks about their experiences learning to be a doctor. And it's a very funny anecdotal book. So a lot of it's like diary entry led. And it's really funny.
Oh, that sounds good. And
okay, that's it. Yes, Chris knows. That's the one.
What's your favorite color to play?
Oh, green.
Cards or cubes?
Cards.
Wooden meeple or plastic figurine?
Oh, that's tough. I'm gonna go with wooden meeple.
Yeah, that's the popular choice, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
Stacking games, okay? Stacking games when you're putting games on your shelf. Horizontal or vertical?
I can never decide. I change it up a lot, but I think I prefer horizontal.
Interesting. I would have thought that being in a board game cafe, you'd want them vertical so people could take them out.
I know, but the amount of times that the pieces fall, and then we have to. So if someone takes a board game out and another box then becomes loose, it opens up slightly and all the pieces fall out, and then we have to spend a lot of time.
So what happens if someone do you use calyx in the dice cup?
Yeah.
So what happens if someone takes a thing from the bottom of the cube and they want to take that game and then there's 5 games on top of it? Are all the customers quite good and respectful about taking out the games and then?
Most of them are really good. Yeah, we're going in on Thursday and Friday this week, and we're going to take all the games off, clean all the cabinets, clean all the games, then put them on neatly. And I think it might depend on what type of game they are, if we put them vertically or horizontal. I think we might mix it up a little bit now, because like abstract games, for example, I want them horizontal. Because if they're vertical, things like abalone, all the balls are going to fall out, and that's really frustrating.
Yeah.
So I keep that flat.
Yeah, I think that games are all unique, and probably there's lots of games that could stand perfectly well vertically.
Vertically, yeah.
It depends like how tight the lid in, how thin the box is. Like if it's a big thin, like the old school, like like Monopoly style thing or Risk, or where it's like almost like an envelope.
Yeah, like letterbox size.
Yeah. Okay, the questions are going to get a little bit harder.
Okay, I'm ready.
Art or rules?
What was that for?
Board games. Art or rules?
Rules.
Okay. What's one of your favorite board games? I'm not going to say it needs to be the number one, but not putting you under too much pressure. Just one of them.
Everdell.
Everdell. Ooh, that's a gorgeous one. And finally, this should be quite an easy question. What is your favorite board game shop and or cafe?
The Dice Cup. I'm biased though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we all saw that coming. But yeah, so we don't have a whole bunch of questions, but we do. I just want to get right into it with the Dice Cup. Let me get rid of that banner. The reason that I'm having you on is because you are one of 2 managers of the Dice Cup. I'd just like to learn a little bit about what's going on in Nottingham. Obviously, there has been a pandemic, and whilst originally, when I'm doing reviews or whatever, I don't want to focus on everything that's going on in the world, but I would like to touch upon, how this has affected your business, whether, I'm going to be really brutal, sorry to be emotional, like your chances for survival over the next year or so. And but how are you going to weather this storm? And also, what is business as usual? Let's lay some framework. So maybe we could start from the past, basically a year ago and before, then move to the present, like 2020, and then move to the immediate future.
Absolutely.
So how did the Dice Cup start off?
So the Dice Cup started off with a couple of friends at the top of a pub. We all rented out a room, and the group was called FANG, which is the Friendly Association of Nottingham Gamers, and the group is still going. So you can always look them up on Facebook. But really, really lovely group of people. Absolutely love games and love meeting new people. And basically, the club kind of got too big and the pub wasn't big enough for them anymore. There were just so many people coming in to play games. So a couple of the people from the group, Matt and Steve and David, decided, well, if we've got this much support at a pub, surely we could possibly open a venue, and then we've got loads of space to play games all the time, and we can invite as many people as we like. So the Dice Cup was born with a couple of friends in a pub, having not enough space to play big games anymore. And we got this lovely venue down by the bus station in Nottingham, and it's all windows, so everyone can see in and everyone can see everybody having a lovely time. It was very rough around the edges at the start, but they did a Kickstarter and we got a decent amount of backing, but it was still a very shoestring budget. And there's our page. And so we opened up 4 years ago now. And at the time I was friends with Matt, who's one of the directors. And then, it all kind of went from there. And now 4 years on, here we are. So that's our electronic mahjong table. So that's really fun.
And so how many founders were there originally?
3.
And 2 of them have continued on and are now the present managers. What happened to the third, may I ask?
Oh, he went off to run his own comic book store near London.
Oh, wow. Near London, might I have heard of it?
I actually, you might have. It's Mondo Comico. It's still up and coming, but yeah.
I've totally heard of it.
Yeah.
Unless there's like 2 Mondo comic shops.
Yeah.
There's
me.
That you?
That's me trying a coffee. I didn't like it. Sorry.
Okay, that's fair. Oh yeah, I've got your little. So it looks like
that's Michael, the other manager, on the right.
And that's one of the staff members on the left.
Yeah, that's Laura. She's at uni at the moment, so she's only with us in the holidays.
So it seems like quite a homely atmosphere. Why would you say that people came to the Dice Cup? And were you surprised by the amount of support that you got on the Kickstarter and after you opened? Yeah,
I mean, it's a massive community. We actually won an award late last year. We won Nottingham's Best Independent Cafe Award for 2019. And we only won the award because of the sheer amount of community and love. And we are all such a big family. And I think anyone that comes in hopefully feels loved and accepted, and that's really what we promote more than anything, is being a little family. We are a community of people, and anyone that steps in becomes part of that community. So yeah, the award was based on community votes, and there's a lot of amazing cafes in Nottingham. We had some tough competition. I honestly thought we were going to get beaten very hard. But there were votes, and then what happened is a panel of judges secret shopped and came round to all the cafes that got high votes and then it was up to the judges to decide from the top 3 which one got the award, and we were really, really grateful. They had a lovely time. They said that they had a lot of fun, so yeah, hopefully that will keep up. But yeah, we've had such amazing support from the beginning. And I think it is just all about that community of gamers. And I don't think we would be here if it weren't for everyone supporting us. So I can't thank everybody enough, because I'd be lost without the Dice Cup.
I mean, it does really sounds like a great way to select, okay, who is in our opinion, the best thing. It sounds like a really meaningful way to mix together, okay, polling the population and then having the first-hand experience.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously you work hard to foster a community. What do you think that you do things to set yourself apart? I mean, obviously there's I was going to say board game cafes, even there's other board game cafes in Nottingham. And there's certainly many now since Snakes and Lattes opened up, I believe in Canada was, some people say, the first one. But then we had, I think, was Drafts the first one in the UK? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
But, I mean, certainly over the past 5 years, it has exploded.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And do you do anything to set yourselves apart?
I'd say yes and no. In a way, we foster a very unique style to the board game cafe experience, I'd like to think, in that we're very casual. I think everyone knows who we are. A lot of people know the staff as soon as they step in, and we're friends immediately. And I think, like, we don't run a lot of events. We run, well, when there's not a pandemic, we run at least one event every single night of the week. Mondays are our busiest night of the week, which I think is quite unusual for a business. And we have 3 different events on a Monday night, and they're all run by lovely people, including myself. And yeah, basically we just, you know, we never close for anything apart from Christmas Day. And we're just there for everybody, and it's nice for people to, like, a lot of the kids, when they finish college and school, they pop in straight after and come and have a chat. And we're almost like kind of the local agony aunts as well. People like to come and let us know what's going on, and have a cup of tea and a coffee when they're not feeling very well. And I'd like to think that that's quite unique in a cafe.
Being able to really foster that experience, and it sounds like it's all about that, the regulars, the regulars supporting each other, the regulars being there for each other and playing games and getting to know each other and becoming friends at the end of the day.
Yeah, and one of the things we really like to do, which I know not all cafes do, but we always have at least one member of staff on hand that knows most of the games, because we really like to be able to teach people the games. We find it's a really nice way for us to get to know the customers better, and also have a more personalized experience of the Dice Cup. And I find a lot of people prefer to be taught a game than have to sit there and read a rule book. So something we really love to do is to give suggestions and teach games and be a bit more present in people's experience of the cafe.
Yeah, it sounds like a wonderful place, and well done on fostering all of that. I think let's talk a little bit about you briefly and how you fit into all of this, because you are not just a Dice Cup. You are also AMY WOSLEY. So let's talk a little bit about how does the Dice Cup fit into your life?
So I was before I started working at the Dice Cup, I worked at the local university, and I was bored out of my brains doing an office job that I didn't really enjoy. And the one thing I wanted to do was have a career where I could also do my art and design on the side, because it's not something that I want to do full time, but definitely a passion of mine. So, and I did my degree in graphic design, so I want to carry on doing that, but I need a job that also ties in with it. And then a position came up at the Dice Cup, and obviously I'm friends with Matt and Steve, who are the directors, and they contacted me and said, would you like to interview for the job? And I was like, yes, please, in a heartbeat. And I've never, ever...
You weren't actually you weren't part of that initial conversation in the pub when it was being founded?
Not initially, no, but I've been friends with Matt since those days. So I've known sort of one of the directors, and then when the Dice Cup opened, I became friends with Steve very quickly as well, who was one of the others who started it up. So I've been there through the whole journey, just not working there for the whole journey.
Okay.
I absolutely adore it, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I love the staff and the family, and I love being able to paint and create alongside of that. So it's really great, and it gives me an opportunity to do what I love all of the time.
Can you talk a little bit about your painting? Because I'm just flipping through and seeing a lot of the art that you've done, and it's I don't know, is that a bit of graphic design, I guess, that you do?
Yeah, so there's some banners for a show that was at the NEC. So I can't often show a lot of the graphic design I do, because the companies that I do the design for don't want sort of it out in the public domain, because obviously it's artwork and creations that they've purchased. But I've done a lot of work for a lot of different companies, graphic design wise. I just can't often publish them. But otherwise, I do a lot of art commissions. I alter Pokemon cards. So obviously they start off a little bit like this, and then they end up like this when I'm done with them.
Sorry.
So this is a regular Pokemon card, and then this is what I do to them.
Wow.
So obviously this was part of the original painting, and you can't really see it, but basically there's some of the original outline, some of the original background as well. And then I alter it and kind of try and make it seamlessly a full art card. So I'm doing Pokemon cards at the moment, but I'm going to start doing Magic cards and Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that as well. But at the moment, I've got a lot of those to be doing. I do canvas paintings as well. But yeah, I really like doing geeky things. I do a little bit of sculpture work as well. So there's a big skull sculpture that I did as well, and it's wearable, so that's a lot of fun. Some branding work there. So yeah, lots.
I've heard of these card alterations. It's something that I was quite astonished by when I first heard about it. For those who aren't aware, and also for myself, frankly, why do people want to have their cards, which are things that you play with, painted over? And presumably, like, can people still play with them in a tournament?
So with Pokemon cards, you can't play with altered cards, but a lot of people like to use them as tokens to show what sort of things they've done on the board. So in Pokemon, you have abilities, and sometimes to show an ability's been used, people like to use a token, and sometimes people will use cards for that. And some people just like their favorite Pokemon. So these two that I just did a couple of days ago are for my friend Alex, who he collects Magikarp and Gyarados cards in a big binder. And so he likes to have all sorts. He likes to have fake cards, he has stickers, he has all sorts. And so for him, these will be a really lovely addition to that folder. Some people like them, as I say, to use for tokens. Some people just like them because they're good fun and nice pieces of art. But yeah, it's just something that sort of people like and enjoy. And obviously I have to price them according to how much the card it costs normally. Like I said, this Barraskewda that I've just got here is like a 10p card. I won't charge anyone for painting that, but something a bit more extravagant.
Well, but surely it's not about the price of the card. Surely it's about, I don't know, you know, your time and how long it takes you.
Yeah, I see Chris has asked how long it takes me. It depends on the card sometimes, but usually 1 to 2 hours per card. But I usually charge between £10 and £15 depending on the card. Sometimes it might be a tiny bit more depending on the actual value of the original card, but I have a lot of Pokemon cards, so I tend not to have to buy the card in question if someone wants something. Unless it's super old, I usually have it. But yeah. Do I use acrylic cards? Yes. Yeah, I use acrylics, sometimes a little bit of gouache, but acrylics are easier to thin down. Gouache is better for like detail work because you can put some nice shadows and stuff, but you have to water it down quite a lot for that.
So all of this is basically done for tokens. I mean, in the Dice Cup, if you were running, I mean, do you get sometimes people using these alterations in a casual game? I don't know if you have lots of casual people play in Dice Cup.
We have a lot of casual players, yeah. So I don't think I've seen many alters used in casual games, but yeah, they're just a bit of fun. People tend to like decorate the table a bit, especially Pokemon players. They have like plushies on the table and fun pieces of art. So I find that people really like to decorate the table a little bit when they're doing things like that. So, but I know that Magic the Gathering altars are, you can use them in actual games as long as certain rules are adhered to. I believe it's just that the back can't be changed. I think you have to have the border and you need to have the name of the card clearly shown, but other than that you can alter it as much as you like. So once I get really good at it, I'll go into that, but because there's rules with Magic cards, I want to make sure that I know exactly what rules have to be followed for the card to be able to be used in play as well.
Okay, and we've talked about in the list, we've got that you demo, you paint, so you do a bunch of demoing for Asmodee.
Yes.
Is that something that can coexist with the Dice Cup? And how does that, what crossover is there, both in terms of time and...
So our biggest, I wouldn't necessarily call it an issue, but our biggest problem with timetabling and rotating is Games Expo. Because everyone always wants to go to Games Expo and I'm always demoing. So it can be quite tricky, but generally there's not a lot of issues with crossover. With Asmodee, I generally only demo at the weekends, and I work at the Dice Cup on Sundays, but I don't work on Saturdays. So if I need to book a Sunday off, I'll see if it's possible. If not, then I tend to just demo on Saturdays. So I'm often in a lot of the shops around Nottingham at the weekends, especially around Christmas time. Other than that, yeah, just conventions and things. So there's lots of different... lots of different things that I'm doing, and I demo Keyforge usually at Games Expo, so I'm usually in the Keyforge demo area because I love my card games.
We've got Jess who says hello to you and your hair.
Apparently
it is its own entity.
It is. That's how important it is, remember?
I see. I have much to learn. So you're a demonstrator, you're the manager, you paint, and you review for Board Game Opinions.
Yes. So my friend Jonathan has a YouTube channel called Board Game Opinions, and as of, I think it might be a couple of years ago now, I just started to help out a little bit here and there. I help with their Instagram page, and obviously there's not been a lot of content with anybody but Jonathan in at the moment because of lockdown, but we did a good few videos at the beginning of lockdown. So yeah, it's it's really fun, and we have a lot of videos on a lot of different games. So if you're curious about any of them, give them a watch. And the nice thing about the channel that's a little bit different from other review channels is it's purely opinion based. So we're not giving any, you know, facts or and we give a brief rundown of how to play really quickly before the video starts usually, but what we really want to know is people's opinions of the game. So whoever sat around the table who was playing with us, we get their opinion of what they liked and what they disliked, or about each game that we play.
And so you said that you got involved with the marketing and everything. Did you ever go onto some of the videos? Because I've only watched a few, but okay.
Yeah, so I'm in quite a few of the videos, but at the moment we weren't able to film any, obviously. But we did, God, what did we do before lockdown? I can't remember what ones we actually filmed, but we definitely did Isle of Cats, and I think that got published. I think that's probably the most recent one that I'm in, because then lockdown started. So I think Isle of Cats is the most recent video that you'll see me and my cat in.
Yep, I'm just going to have a quick look. There is that Paradox just jumping off?
Yeah, so she, the very first instruction for the game is in the lid of the box, and the first thing it says is, if you have a cat, place it here for the. So yeah, there's like a little target, and the first setup rule is to put your cat on the target. So we let her jump in the box first before we played.
Wow, that's I've heard amazing thing about Isle of Cats, and shouts out to Frank West, who actually, maybe I can talk to them about coming on one day. They did the amazing City of Games convention in Bristol that I went to both of them. I think it was only the two before Frank realized that, hey, we can't have that many people. And so, yeah, it's because they couldn't find a big enough place, they decided to just stop it, which is arguably a shame, but I can understand why Frank would say, well, if I have 1,000 people wanting to come and I can only allow 300 of them to turn up and I'm turning away people, it feels bad when you have to turn away people.
Definitely, yeah. It's not really what the experience people want from a convention, is it? So that's a shame, but next time.
For sure. And so finally going on to your streams, because you're also a streamer, Pumpkin, and is that just so? It sounds like most of this is a hobby. I mean, I know that Asmodee does pay a wage, but presumably that basically just covers the travel to get there and the meals that you.
Asmodee are brilliant. They do provide travel money, so we do get obviously demo money on top of our travel rebate, but you don't get the money for the travel back until the next month, so you kind of have to wait for a little refund on that. But yeah, they're really great. But the streaming, I started doing it just under a month ago, so I've only been streaming about 3 weeks on my own channel. And basically I started doing it just to run Pokemon and Keyforge tournaments for the Dice Cup, because we really wanted the community still to be engaged, even though we're having to play from home. So I run tournaments. So there's a Pokemon tournament tonight that I'll be streaming. And then I've also started to play a few video games and stuff like that. So I stream Keyforge on a Saturday, Pokemon trading card game on a Monday and a Wednesday. So yeah, you'll see a mix of kind of video games and tournaments on there. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I've had more support than I expected from it. So I'm going to continue streaming even after lockdown, because yeah, it's just been a really good experience. And I had somebody tune in for the first time who was a Magic player, to see how the Pokemon guys were, and they were like, gosh, you guys are so friendly, and we were like, yeah, come on, get involved. So it was a lot of fun. I wish that we could run Magic events online, but with Arena it doesn't allow kind of friends to play with one another, so we'll have to wait until the store's back open to start doing Magic events again.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because, yeah, I don't know exactly how the legality of it all works because I mean, I know there was an uproar over someone who was basically just showing the whole anime video, and then they were like down in the bottom left, and it was like, yeah, basically you're just profiting off the copyrighted stuff, and your actual comments are not contributing to it. But then even when you are, streaming something and you're talking constantly or playing the game, it is still the content of someone else that you're using for your thing. So I don't know exactly what the legalities of it was. And Alan Outson and I were going to try to play, I think it was Corridor, when I was reviewing it. So I thought I might, no, actually it was Pilos. It was during the review of it, and then we said, okay, let's try streaming it. And then I thought, hey, wait a minute, how does that work? If I were to like play against a stranger, would that be like ethically and legally wrong because you're showing that person's username? And what's the situation if you do it with a friend? Would that be okay because you're using the board game arena, parts of it, and you're using obviously other person's stuff? I guess it's down to whether you're adding on more content or not. I mean, I'm sure Gigamic wouldn't care because, they don't pay me to review their stuff, but they pay me for having reviewed. I know I'm on. I know the company. Do you know what I mean? They basically pay my rent.
Yeah.
Because I'm really privileged that got this one incredibly successful game with them. And when I was in Cannes, and I was like, had basically half an hour where I was a bit bored, so I went around basically demoing all their games for them. And
amazing.
Jess is saying cats is Paradox
behind you.
Oh, behind me.
It walked across the fence.
Oh, okay. I did not even notice. But yeah, I did not plan that, Jess. No, I didn't. But yeah, let's get back to the Dice Cup, and I have a feeling we might overrun, so I hope that that's okay with you, Amy.
Yeah, I'm not busy.
Okay. So we've talked a bit about the origin of the Dice Cup, and everything's going well. Now let's talk about the present. Let's talk about right now. Let's talk about the short-term past, if you know what I mean. Let's talk about the past since February. How have things changed? What have you been up to?
So obviously at the start of February, we were doing so well. It was already setting up to be an absolutely astonishing year. January was fabulous. We had some amazing attendance for events. We were doing really well. We hired a new member of staff in early February, and unfortunately they only got to do a couple of shifts before we locked down. So poor old Barry only got 2 shifts with us. So we'll get to know him a little bit better when we reopen very soon. But we were doing all so well, and everyone was so engaged, and we were packed every single day. We were struggling to get new people in, so we'd ordered some new tables and chairs because we needed some more space.
Sorry, I'm just laughing, in the context of, now when more sitting areas, the opposites of what you want.
Yeah, so now it's going to be a bit tough, but over a couple of weeks ago, obviously, now that we're in lockdown, we've had such incredible support from the community because we've been doing deliveries, as you can see. So we've teamed up with our local vegan baker, Clemmy, and we've been doing cake deliveries every other weekend, but we're doing board game deliveries just all the time. So if somebody orders a game, we'll nip to the cafe, grab it and deliver it to them. Or if it needs posting, then I'll pop it in a box, and I go to the post office every day. So I just go and take it with me on my round. So yeah, we've had a lot of support. We haven't had a chance to add it up yet, but I hazard a guess we've sold more board games in lockdown than possibly we're probably going to equal the entirety of last year. We have sold so many board games during lockdown. It's been exceptional. I love to know that our community is playing board games while they're stuck inside, because it just makes such a difference. So we're really chuffed.
So I guess this is, do you think this is people buying board games because they want to support you, or do you think it's people buying board games because they are actually needing new board games to play with the people that they live with?
I definitely think it's a little bit of both. We've had people who just wanted to support the cafe and they were trying to find ways to do it. We have a Patreon and stuff like that, but we're going to stop doing that soon because we're going to be reopening. So if people just wanted to throw money at us, they had the option there. But otherwise, we were encouraging people to buy games. But we're more than happy to like give suggestions, and we're going to carry on doing the delivery service after lockdown, because we want people that are still vulnerable to be able to access games or support us.
And I noticed that you've got sorts of actual events going on.
Yeah.
Could you talk about this Keyforge Seal Saturday?
Yeah. So that was this Saturday just gone. So this was an online event. So literally everyone got a brand new deck. So I've got boxes of decks here, and I opened it up and I send people a photo of the QR code so that they can play with the deck online. And then I start packaging them all up. So I've got a couple done already, and then I'll do those ones in a minute, and I'll take them to the post office and post them their decks. So we all played with the decks, and now they're all going to go to their new owners. So we had people from all over the UK playing. So it wasn't just the Dice Cup locals, it's absolutely anyone that would like to play. So we're still going to carry on doing those soon.
And
yes.
That's Asmodee who does the QR codes, and I think it's called the Crucible or something, their online platform.
Yeah, it's a fan-made platform. It's not official. So the fact that we have that is incredible, and it's so good. Like, absolutely, like, thank you so much to the people that created it, because we need it, because I miss Keyforge so much. We have such a lovely community, and it's such a great game. So it's really nice that we can still play in lockdown. Thank you to the guys who do the Crucible. So yeah, we're doing online events, and then we're going to start tentatively doing smaller events at the Dice Cup when we reopen.
It sounds really wonderful. And so that's a little bit about how you've managed to stay afloat. So have you actually, how many employees does the Dice Cup have?
We have 10.
10?
10, yeah.
That's quite a few.
It is, yeah. We saw some rapid expansion last year, and we just kept getting busier and busier and busier, and we really couldn't fathom why, but clearly we were doing something good and well, and so then we realized really quickly that we needed more help. So yeah, we have 10 employees now, 11 if you count Laura, who comes back for the holidays because she's at uni at the moment. But yeah, we have a really lovely team, and we're like a little family. It's really cute.
Well, that is awesome. And so can we break it down a little bit? So we've got the two managers, yourself and Matthew.
Yeah, and Michael. Sorry, yeah.
Sorry, Matthew. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry, Michael. I am probably going to forget your name again if I ever come in and I see Michael. So apologies in advance, Michael. But how many full-time employees?
Oh gosh, cool. 6.
So 6 full-time employees. So then 2 part-time employees.
We might have more. Gosh, I think we have 4 part-time employees.
So 12 people total.
Yeah.
So you've got 8 full-time members of staff, and I guess that's a bunch of. Can you talk about what the typical roles are for everyone? What's the things that you actually get people doing?
What, the staff members, do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have different things. Like we're a vegan cafe as well, so we have a lot of we have a lot of staff that obviously need to be in the kitchen, and we've got staff that kind of prefer being in the kitchen and staff that don't. So we try to keep people that prefer doing certain jobs in the places they like to be. And then we've got a couple of staff members who are for teaching games. So they're walking around the cafe, checking if anyone needs any help, suggesting new games to people. We have people obviously need to be a bit cleanly buzzy bees, filtering around, cleaning, make sure everything's tidy. And then we obviously need some people on the till.
And some people making all the foods and stuff?
Yeah, so food, teas, coffees, that sort of thing. We're all barista trained, so we can make some absolutely lovely concoctions. So yeah, there's quite a few things that need doing every single day.
And other than the cakes, what else is on the menu?
So we have
would be on, and let me rephrase that. What is going to be on the menu when you reopen?
So we're going to have a slightly smaller menu when we reopen. So we're still going to be doing things coming out of the kitchen will be things like cakes, paninis. We're not going to be doing our pizzas because it takes too long and people would have to sit down and eat. But anything that's small and can be taken away, we do vegan sausage rolls. They'll still be on the menu. So yeah, it'll be quite limited now to sort of just cakes, paninis, and sausage rolls, I think, for the time being.
Okay, so now moving on to the present. Today is Monday, and exactly 1 week ago, I believe that it was legal in England for shops to open for any reason. Before that, there was a bit of a lockdown. You could only have shops that were selling what were deemed essential things, food and whatnot. And there's let's not get into that whole discussion of what is essential and what's not. But let's focus on now. There are a whole bunch of places like the Ludicrous and a lot of board game shops have opened just over a week ago, or because I'm assuming that they opened before 10:57 on the Monday. If they're normal, maybe they opened at 12. Maybe it was just under a week ago. I don't know. But and some people have chosen to delay it, like yourselves. And I've read a lot of reports of people saying, hey, instead of opening 60 hours a week or 70 hours a week or whatever, we are opening 16. That's 1/6. So that's literally just 4 hours a day, 4 days a week.
Yeah, that's not a lot, is it? Wow.
But that's what they're doing to kind of say, okay, you can come in, you can buy games. And then if that continues, if they actually start to have more than a couple of people inside, then they're going to open more, because it really depends on the place, and they don't want to defurlough people. Did you have to furlough people at all during the lockdown? Yeah,
all of the staff were furloughed, and then we are going to be opening on the 6th of July. We're going to have shortened hours, but we're still open 8 hours a day. We're going to really slowly start to do events again. So we're going to have limited spaces. So we're going to cap all events at 8 people to begin with. They're going to be really well spaced. We're reducing the amount of tables in the cafe for the time being. And there'll be some quite strict rules, unfortunately, if you'd like to sit down and play a game. But we are trying to make it possible.
And so when you say events, can you give an example of an event and how that will work with social distancing and reducing the rates of infection?
Yeah, so for example, I'm going to be running some Pokemon events, and we're going to be doing them in the evenings only. The cafe will be closed other than the people that are here for the event. So you're only allowed in if you signed up for the event, if you paid in advance, and if you are wearing a face mask. The whole time you're at the event, you must wear your face mask, unless you have a good medical reason otherwise and can prove it so. We're going to have hand sanitizer on the tables. You're not allowed to touch each other's cards, and we're going to have people spaced an extra table away. If you need any help, then they can call me over as a judge, and I'll do my best to kind of help them understand what's going on each other's boards. And we're just going to ask people to play a little bit slower, because sometimes if you're playing quite fast, it can be disorientating for your opponent. So we're going to extend the usual match timer that we would put on. So normally a match would need to be concluded in 35 minutes, but we're going to extend that to 45 to give people an extra 10 minutes to go a bit slower, to help their opponent and maybe verbalize a little bit more what they're doing on their side of the board. So yeah, we're just going to really tentatively make sure that there is...
When you say an extra table, so normally people are playing across face to face on one table.
We're going to double it.
That you're going to literally have double the width between each person.
Yeah, so we'll have 2 tables kind of horizontally, and then they will play. So I'll have a whole table for me, and they will have a whole table for them. And
so
then
how much distance will that be from edge of table to edge of table, would you say?
So, gosh, I mean, they're probably, because this is probably about the right length. So it's probably going to be about the tables are about, what, 26 inches in width. So it'll be 2 times that for the whole distance.
And 52 inches in centimeters is 132.08 centimeters, according to
over a meter.
Internet.
Yeah, so it'll be just over a meter between them. Because obviously 2 meters is going to be a bit difficult because you won't be able to see your opponent's cards at all. And we are hoping that the Prime Minister will be announcing soon that we're going to be reducing the 2 meter rule anyway. Until the 2 meter rule is reduced, we won't be able to run events, but I'm pretty sure they're going to reduce it really soon. So fingers crossed that it's going to be safe. They're going to say it's safe now to be 1 meter away from one another, and then we can do events with that style in place.
Did you consider any transparent barrier, if you know what I mean? Like the sort of things that you see in a lot of food shops. I actually was out to the post office. When was it? Thursday, I want to say. Yeah, Thursday. I posted a lot of things, and then I cycled past the chicken shop. There was literally no one inside except for the people doing the chicken, and so they made me some fresh wings. So and like nowadays, whenever I go and there's no one inside, it's brilliant. Anyway, so I got some fresh fried chicken that I didn't have to make myself, or it wasn't even frozen. But like obviously, that sort of barrier that they've got. Have you considered anything like that?
Yeah, we considered them, and we might. So we're going to be in the cafe on Thursday and Friday this week, because we're going to be doing some renovation work. And when we're doing that, we're going to sit and we're going to test all of our theories and see if it is suitable. And if we don't deem it is suitable enough, then we'll be considering getting some sort of barrier system. I suppose the issue with that is the financial implications, because these are very likely things that we might not ever use again after this. So if they end up being really expensive, that could be difficult for us. So we'd probably look into making our own, because we're quite DIY heavy in the cafe anyway. So we probably nip to B&Q or Homebase or something and try and find like a big PVC clear sheet or something and make something that's a bit more suitable. So we'll look into that, but we think the face masks, if everybody's wearing them, that should help a lot. And if someone says they don't want to wear them for whatever reason, then we will probably ask that maybe they wait until it's safe to play without them on, and that they not play until then.
Yeah, I think that the most important thing is to make sure that everyone's adhering to these rules, because I've not been on public transport. Certainly, even normally, I didn't go on public transport that often. And so I probably wouldn't have been on public transport anyway, but I've heard reports in the past few days from someone on the DLR in London who says, hey, people, you're legally obliged to wear a face mask on public transports in London. But apparently there was a good this wasn't a scientific report, it's only one eyewitness, but it's from a friend, I trust them, who just said that a lot of people firstly are wearing the face mask and just saying I can't be bothered with it, and not even that, putting them around their chin and neck just because they want to just be able to breathe normally. basically ignoring everyone else. And a lot of people just didn't have a face mask on at all. I would say that a lot of board gamers are maybe quite good at following rules because, you enter into the magic circle. And so, frankly, if you, I can't remember Pokemon so well, but in Magic, if you if you have 1 energy and then you do something that costs 2 energy, well, you can't do that. It's just the rules of the game. Everyone knows you follow the rules. And so hopefully that will translate when you're like, okay, these are the rules that are important.
I was trying to,
yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of signs up, and we're going to laminate some signs to go on tables as well, just to remind people to use lots of hand sanitizer, wear them properly. Yeah, exactly, Jessica. And I've bought some really fun face masks. Some of them haven't arrived yet, but I'm looking forward to wearing them at work because I've got some really fun ones. But we've bought some washable, reusable face masks that we've got for the staff, and if someone's forgotten theirs, we can always give them one of those as well because we've got quite a big box of them. So hopefully people will be really reasonable with them. But like yourself, I haven't been on public transport since February, and I am going to have to get the tram to work when I start going. So I very quickly ordered plenty of face masks to keep me going, some washable ones. But yeah, there's some great ones out there, and I think you can have fun with it, and I think that's what's really nice. So I ordered all of mine from independent sellers because I really wanted to support people, and I did order a Pokemon one off Etsy, so I've got one for Pokemon as well, which is really fun. I can't wait for it to arrive. It hasn't arrived yet, but I'm excited.
And I do want to give a shout out to my friend, Liz, who, if you go to Instagram as instagram.com/estrobomb, ESTROBOMB, they make amazing face masks. And so these are all things that they have made.
They're really pretty.
Yeah, they are actually based in Germany, so it costs a little bit more to get them sent in the UK. And I don't think I have anyone watching in Germany, but if you're watching in Germany, or if you really like someone who handcrafts these but are made to be really good, I think it's worth reaching out to Estrobomb.
Yeah, definitely. Try and support your local creators.
And I love all these kinds of little stories that they have. Just
that one's good. I like that one. Yeah, I think the face masks are really good, and I wish people were a little bit better with them on public transport, because I have heard similar experiences from my friends with people maybe not wearing them either properly or at all. So I hope that when I start having to get back on the tram each morning, I hope that people are good. And maybe if they see everyone else wearing fun face masks, they'll realise that it can be really fashionable and really cool to wear them. So I've got one Pokemon one on the way, like I said, and I've also got a really cute Bumblebee one. So I'm really excited for them to arrive, so I can accessorize my face more. Which, why wouldn't you want to do that, right?
And Jess asks who that was, and I've sent the Instagram thing, and so if you want to check that out or buy your own, you totally can. And Liz is super lovely, and if it wasn't for Liz and Maquette, I might never have finished the Kickstarter for In a Bind, true story. And but anyway, so yeah, washing hands. Because you talked about hand sanitizer, which I have been thinking that in 2021, when I go to UK Games Expo, fingers crossed it happens.
Yes, please.
I'm going to make sure going forwards that I have hand sanitizer for everyone, and I say please use this hand sanitizer before you engage in one of our demos, before you touch any of our cards. And but I do want to state that from what I understand, hand sanitizer, it only works a couple of times, and then you need to properly go into the loo and wash your hands. Yeah. So that should also be a thing, maybe in between every round. I don't know how exactly you could do it, because you don't want to say, at the end of every round, everyone go to the loo, because then you've got a massive queue for the loo, but you want to have some regularity of washing your hands.
It probably won't be too difficult. We've got 2 toilets, and if we're only capping events at 8 people, it probably wouldn't take them too long to each wash their hands. 2 minutes per person. It's a nice, 10-minute break if you've only got 4 of them in each toilet, and then that'll get everyone sorted and sit down again. So it probably takes minutes.
Maybe that's a good opportunity as well for people to kind of sit across from each other, wait, and have a little chat and get to know the person that they've just been playing with.
Exactly.
Because I did play a bit of Pokemon back in the day. I bought a box of I don't think it was the original printing of the first set, but it was the first set, if you know what I mean. But I hear that the one that I bought wasn't the one that's now actually worth money, because you want the one that's saying this is the first ever printing sort of thing.
It's a bit of a misconception, actually. There is a really rare printing of the first set that was only ever printed in the UK. They have a different date stamp at the bottom, and actually every single card, even commons of that set, are worth hundreds of pounds.
When you say it was only printed in the UK, do you mean that all the stuff in the UK was printed that way, or do you just mean...
Yeah, so basically there was a shortage of Pokemon cards when the first set came out in the UK, because they didn't think it was going to be as popular as it was. So to combat that, what they did is said, okay, we're going to print more just for the UK. So they printed more cards and just sent them to the UK. And that print run had a different date at the bottom of it. And the cards are really rare because it was just a top-up that was just for the UK of the very first set. So if anybody has cards that are from, they call it the second run. The fourth run. It's the fourth. Technically, it's the fourth run of cards.
So if I got it quite early on, it might have been the second or third run, which is worth a normal amount.
Maybe, which would be worth a normal amount. But the fourth run was a run of cards that was only ever given out in the UK. So they're really hard to come by because there weren't a lot of them, and they're really rare.
That is good to know. Maybe I would like to come to Nottingham at one point to visit Andrew Dennison, who watchers might have seen on the stream which we currently do at 8-10 p.m. But now that Clap for Carers has stopped, and now that no one is booing for Boris, I might just say, okay, we'll start at 8 o'clock, because 8 o'clock's a nicer time. It was honestly just so everyone could have a few minutes to clap or boo, because I like to encourage that sort of behavior of appreciation, or making a little bit of a stand against some things. Anyway, so politics aside, I would like to come down. Maybe I'll bring my folder, or maybe I'll pop in, and maybe we could sort out something where I demo some games or something at the Dice Cup.
That would be so much fun. Yes, please.
I actually realized, so personal shout out, I found out that it's 1st of August this year is going to be the 5th anniversary of the retail release of In a Bind.
Really?
Which was my first true story. So I got it, I finished the drawings around February-ish 2015. I got it all printed by the UK Games Expo, and I had enough copies that I took a bunch so that the people who'd backed the Kickstarter who were at UK Games Expo, I gave them their copies then and there. Then I sent them all out. I had like 2 months to do it, so hopefully everyone had their copy by then. I said, okay, I want to make a release date. What release dates can I choose? I know I'm not as big as Magic, but I would like to try to make a little bit of an event of it. Do you know what I mean? And so I thought, okay, the 1st of the month, maybe people will be able to remember that because it's the 1st of a month. Yeah. Okay, what month should I choose? 1st of August, that seems good. And then that became a little bit of a thing. And now every year on 1st of August, I make a new game for the L deck. That's how it started. Anyway, so like that date, I phoned up like a good bunch of shops. I definitely Leisure Games is the one that I remember because I actually went in there and I just sat down, and anyone who came in, I demoed the game. And I remember phoning them up and they said, yeah, just to warn you, like, we don't normally buy that many of a game. So even if it's really good, we're probably only going to buy like 6 copies. And then I went in and then I was quite ambitious, and then they bought like 30 copies or something, because just sitting there, I'd sold about like 4 copies, I want to say, just because in a bind it's really
so good.
So I want to do something special for the 1st of August, and someone on Twitter just this morning suggested a photo competition. So people could maybe send me their photos. I'm just going to say that I don't know exactly what... I'm just going to say, send me photos of you or other people playing Yogi, or in a bind, or in a bind junior, or in a bind expansions, or Yogi Guru, basically any of those things. And because I think, do I need to legally say that there's a no purchase required thing? If I do, then I'll work out a no purchase required thing down the line, and I'll have like some cards that you can print out, and you can do that instead. But, you know, if you want to send that, send it to my email address, which is, I'm just announcing it here because why not? So my email address, as you can see there, is coming up. stuffbybez@gmail.com. So send me a picture, and on 1st of August, I'm going to be doing like a crazy, insane long live stream on the 3 days. I'm planning maybe 30 hours-ish. And so then I'm going to be showing those photos, and I will work out what prize I can give away, something that's exciting. I'll probably ask Shigamik if they can give me something. I might ask Simon if they can do something. And we'll have something, at least something that's signed by me and something that's signed by Simon as well. I might do a bunch of postage. Now, I don't know what I'm speaking. I should stop speaking because I'm just committing myself to do more and more stuff. But there's going to be stuff happening for sure. And we'll also have a crazy sort of remote game of In a Bind / Yogi, so you can play from your own home. And it'll be using different rules. But we'll see how that works. Anyway, this is not meant to be about me. This is meant to be about you. I apologize.
No, it's a great celebration.
Thank you very much. I am really excited about it, and it's like I'm like, yeah, it's been nearly 6 years, because my last non-gaming job was working for a big supermarket, and since then I've been lucky enough that, yeah, for a while, Alley Cats Games was paying me money to develop stuff, and then other people were paying me money to make stuff. And King's College London paid me money to make a LARP, so thank you, King's College London, for paying me money. And it's like, I feel, yeah, since I did that, also thank you to the welfare system in the UK. Thank you to housing benefit that I no longer need to have. Because, and it's thank you to everyone who's now taking a chance on my games. Like, I think, I don't want to talk about Coiled Spring, Cocktail Games. You know, it might work. We'll see what happens. Obviously, inside the box, ping me for Seize the Power, and I'm working with Alan Paul on, yeah, just, I feel like really blessed to be able to do a creative thing which I absolutely adore. And yeah, that's been amazing. So yeah, just wanted to say, I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
And Amy's Arts Instagram link, I will put all of Amy's links in the comments. Michelle, I will just copy and paste the whole thing, but
Thank you.
Yeah, so Amy, can you talk about the future? How we've talked a bit about the immediate future. How do you expect things to pan out over the next year? And before I let you answer, I do want to say my laptop's on 3%, so I might have to take myself off quickly and run indoors.
That's fine. So yeah, I'm expecting it to be a great year still. I don't think we're going to have any problems. The government have been great in helping us out a little bit financially before sort of anything got too bad. I think it's going to be an interesting process before we're back to complete normality. But I honestly have no concerns for the future. I think the Dice Cup's going to be absolutely fine, and I don't think there's any reason to worry. I think we're going to be here for a very long time.
Yeah, I think that sounds awesome. Sorry, I'm just not wanting everyone to see the route from my garden to my bedroom. But yeah, do you have any, I don't know, aspirations, any hopes of, yeah, what happens after normality?
I think there's definitely some, we'd really like to have a few more renovations done at the cafe. So we hopefully will have a little bit of extra time and money for that, because we'd like a little spruce up. We definitely need our carpet redoing. So hopefully we might be able to have a little bit of a kind of mini relaunch with a little bit of a new look eventually. We are having a mini refurb at the moment, but it's all DIY because we can't afford to do anything extravagant right now. But in the future, I think I'd really like things just for now to get back to normal, and then for us to be able to have a nice bit of a touch up of the cafe.
It has been so wonderful having you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's love to have you on again if you can make the time, maybe in a few months, so we can talk about how your opening has gone, because I think that this is a really difficult time, obviously, for I mean, myself, I obviously benefit a lot from conventions, both emotionally and also financially. And yeah, I'm aware that at least one of my games has been put on hold purely because a company wasn't able to test it with kids right now. And it's really good hearing that shops and board game cafes are able to survive. I'm really impressed at the sorts of community going on in Nottingham. And yeah, I wish you all the best. But before we go, we've got a few things left to say, which is, firstly, thank you everyone who was watching and commenting along. Thank you, Michelle, Alan, Andrew, Chris, Jess. You're all lovely people, and also Patricia, who isn't watching now but is apparently going to watch in the future. So, hi, Patricia. And it has just been a wonderful chat. So, thank you. And it's been amazing to hear that you've been able to survive. And of course, there's so much going on with Amy's artwork. And so do check out their stuff. And I've pasted all the links there. If you have enjoyed this, then please do, as always, comment and share and follow me, all that stuff. Then what are we looking forward to? I am looking forward to, I think, yeah, so we've got what are we looking forward to and what's our daily hope ambition. I'm on my to-do list, it's to just do a lot more packing, because I've still got about 40 envelopes to pack today. And so, yeah, there's going to be a lot of hand decoration, a lot of packing, and a bit of video watching. So I'm actually looking forward to watching a couple of videos that I've got, okay, watch later on YouTube. I'm going to put that up and watch them whilst I do my drawing of cats and dogs on the envelopes.
Yay! Oh, that sounds like such a good day.
What are you up to, Amy?
I am ready to start painting for today. So I've got a couple more card alters to do, and I'm doing a Harry Potter themed painting for a friend as well. So I'm really excited. Hopefully I'll get lots done today.
And do you have any hope or ambition beyond that? It's fine to say that is my hope and ambition. My hope and ambition is that I just get all the things drawn and post and packed.
I think I would like to hopefully make some time for a little bit of exercise today. So my ambition and my hope is to hopefully get myself outside of the house and maybe go on a little jog. Maybe I'll go to the post office and jog there and then jog round the town and then back. So maybe I'll go in my gym gear to the post office today.
Nice. And I mean, have you actually been doing that regularly, Jess? Is that a thing that you've managed to achieve in the past, getting up so early? That's super impressive.
That is
I was considering trying to get up earlier and earlier until I could get up with the sunlight. But then recently I'm going to just hold up my hands and admit, in the past 5 days, I've just been getting up a little bit later, maybe 8:30, 8:50, kind of sleeping in, at least in time to do this stream. So I'm still getting up relatively early, but...
I'm a night owl. I don't go to bed until 4 a lot of the time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Jess is, so bubbly and full of energy.
Oh.
And the sun only comes up at 6 a.m. there. The sun over here comes up at like 4:30.
Yeah.
So that has been us. If you want to follow me, I am stuffbybez.com, twitter.com/stuffbybez, instagram.com/stuffbybez, twitch.tv/stuffbybez, or facebook.com/thingsbybez, because Facebook doesn't let you have F and B next to each other in the URL. They think you might be impersonating Facebook FB, but they do let you have Stuff by Bez as the page name, so you can search for that. Or you can also email me on stuffbybez@gmail.com if you wish to do that. And how can people find you, Amy?
They can find me on Instagram, and I'm Amy Wosley on Instagram, but also on Twitch, where I'm Pumpkin Amy, and on Facebook you can either add me as a friend if you fancy. I love a good chat, or you can hit me up on the Dice Cup page as well.
We've got next stream is tomorrow morning, which you can see tomorrow. Oh, I didn't wait. Something went wrong there. I totally wrote Whitson's Wagers. Let me change this right now. I'm reviewing Whitson's Wagers tomorrow. I decided that's I would, because spoiler, I like it, but some of the questions are American-centric, but it's a really nice game. So tomorrow I'm reviewing Whitson's Wagers, which I quite like. Then tomorrow at 8:10 p.m. I've got the Tuesday Trials, which is can play along with Giftable and Backwards Muckhole. And Wednesday, we're going to be talking about Couple, and there'll be a new thing every day. And also, I got this box this morning, which this is from Portal Games. And so, I don't know if you can see, they wrapped it really well. I was really impressed. Oh. So, can you see all... Wait, let me make myself bigger. Yeah, really good packaging, all really bubble wrapped with little bubble wrap around the outside. And so I was considering doing a sort of live stream of a solo playthrough at one time. That will probably just me popping up and doing it for sake of it. And yeah, it'll be more hey, I don't have to do this, but I'll just probably do some solo gaming live stream as and when, because there's enough stuff scheduled anyway. And so that is us. And for now, again, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks,
Michelle. It's lovely to see you every morning, Alan. I'm so honoured that you've been here since the morning. Oh, Kevin Shaw. And thank you. And for now, all that's left to do is to say bye bye, bye bye. This is a bye bye song. Bye bye, bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye, bye bye. Now it's time to go. Bye bye, bye bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye bye, bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye, bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye-bye.